All right, I think I have all my buttons pushed now, so we're recording on this computer and we're live on Facebook. And good morning, everybody. This is Tim Radford on WKRK 105.5 FM, 1320 AM, cable TV channel 25, and worldwide at country.am. And we are on Facebook Live as well. And we are ready for our weekly program with Sheriff Derek Palmer. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. How's everybody this morning?
Doing good. How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be here.
Did you get my text message?
I did.
All right, good.
Yeah. I've been here for what, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
35 seconds maybe?
Yeah, I started the video as soon as he walked in the door. He makes me nervous when he gets here after 11 o'clock. But I know you have things to do.
We do. Yeah, and there's a few things going on this morning, nothing newsworthy. It's just your normal law enforcement duties and things that's happening. But, sometimes right before the program, things happen, and you have to deal with either people walking in from the public, wanting to speak with you, or calls that may come in you need to assist with and things of that nature. So sometimes things happen right up to the very last minute. I think I've only had dispatch call you one time and tell you I'm running late, I think.
I think that was
only one time. So.
I don't know if folks can see this or not because it's kind of dark on camera, but this is kind of my party shirt. It's kind of a flowery. How would you describe it, Derek?
Palm leaves, maybe.
Palm leaves?
Yeah, it looks like palm leaves.
Well, I wore this on
ferns, something.
I wore this because let's take the glasses off, put my cool shades on. There we go. It's party day.
Right.
We're going to be having
party.
the pool party in Andrews this evening. We're looking forward to that. And our whole goal is to promote prevention of drug use. So if we can prevent drugs from ever happening, then hopefully that's going to make your job a little easier.
I hope so. I'm ready for anything to make my job a little easier.
So we've already had a lot of people donating soft drinks and water and things like that, and we just want to say thank you to those folks. And some folks have donated cash to help pay for lifeguards and some food for this evening. We want to thank the community for that. And the party is tonight at 6 o'clock at the Andrews Town Pool. I need to take these shades off so I can see what I'm doing now. But it's going to be from 6 to 9, and everybody's welcome. It's free of charge, and just everybody's welcome. And no charge again, and it's basically for our youth to get there, be around some positive role models, people that will share some love and encouragement in their lives, and basically just let the youth know that their community loves them and cares about them, and this is one of those activities where we just want to feed the community, and we hope people will join us of all ages and just share the love.
I do have a couple appointments I've got to get to tonight, but I am going to try to go by there. I don't know that I'll be able to swim and do the things I'd like to do with the kids up there, but I will stop by and say hello and those kind of things before going up to my appointment. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you're sheriff, you have appointments in morning, night, middle of the night, early morning.
I understand that, yes.
And they're not all between 8 to 5, and so I've got one tonight that I've got to get to. But it is in the Andrews area, so I will stop by there. And
we look forward to seeing you there if you're able to stop by. And folks can stop by and see me in my fancy flowery shirt, my palm leaf shirt in real person. It looks kind of black on camera, I think. But
it does. It looks a little dark on camera.
It really does. All right. But anyway, it's WKRK Radio in Murphy, North Carolina, and we have a lot to talk about. And Gaitha, she says, did you hear her on Party Line this morning?
I did not. I didn't get a chance to listen to Party Line today.
She says we need to get drugs off the streets, that's for sure. But this morning she said that she can't wait to see you lip sync into a video.
Well, we have tried a couple times to put some together, and it's just kind of fell through at the last minute. Mm-hmm. Had things pop up, things happen, people out of town, all those kind of things. So I do think we have a couple of people that's working on one, so hopefully we can get it together before too long.
Super. All right. Well, we've had some conversation. One person wanted me to bring up this topic about since we're doing all this drug efforts and drug prevention and recovery, talk about the what kind of role the law enforcement plays in our school system. At one time, we had a DARE program in our area, and that's no longer in our area, correct?
That is correct.
Is that a funding issue?
A couple issues with that. One is, of course, is funding issue. That the DARE program was a program that was put together in 1983. By then Chief of Police Darrell Gates in Los Angeles, California, to combat the drug issues and things that they were dealing with there in Los Angeles. And then it kind of spread across the country. one of the problems with DARE, and one of the things that a lot of people started getting away from the DARE program, was that there was no real numbers or statistics or anything showing what the impact of it was, whether it's helping or whether people were staying off drugs because of DARE, whether it was helping the communities and those kind of things. So because there wasn't a whole lot of facts associated with it, people started moving away from that program, and other programs started popping up. But DARE is still available. But on top of that, and it being a funding issue, one of the big things that we face in our community right now, and I've talked to Superintendent Connolly about it several times, is the fact of that with the core curriculums and the things they're doing in the school system now, sometimes it's hard for the school systems to get time for programs like that taught in the schools. Whenever you go into the school system and you teach those programs, it takes teaching time away from the teachers, and it takes classroom instruction time away from the students. And so there's always that never-ending battle of trying to find the time and when you're going to do it and what age groups and those kind of things. For several years, I taught a program in the school that's kind of along with DARE that's called the GREAT program. It's Gang Resistance Education and Training. And one of the reasons that I taught the GREAT program in our school system here was the fact of not that we have gang issues or gang problems, but along with that program, it taught things about drugs and the consequences of drugs and things of that nature. But it also taught in the school system how kids become productive members of society, and how to contribute to communities, and how to become a community member, and those kind of things. And not only dealing with all of that, but they deal with also with just not just being a productive member of your community, but it was like anger management and those type of things. So that was a very good program that we taught in the schools. I taught that in the 8th grade, I believe it was, 7th or 8th grade. I believe it was 8th grade we taught. And so, but they have curriculum for that also for elementary age kids too. But it goes back to that fact of trying to coordinate with the school systems on when to find the time to do that. I have been in communication with Superintendent Connolly over this past year and over the summer about getting some of those programs started in our school system, and hopefully this coming year we'll see a lot more of those things in the system. And what we have been doing, along with myself and other officers have been in the school, talking with the kids and teaching different things within the school system, but not necessarily DARE program, but with the character education trainings and those type of things within the system.
And it appears we lost connection with our camera, so we're trying to reconnect on our
Right.
Facebook Live broadcast. So folks, bear with us while we try to reconnect, and we'll try to get that started once again. But again, we are talking about drug usage in schools and the communities, and we just want to do all we can to help that situation out. Another young lady is talking about the bullying in
Right.
school, and what kind of thoughts do you have on that?
Well, there's a lot of variance of opinions on bullying and those type of things in the schools, but we do know that has a negative effect on children. We do know that there's a negative effect of the bullying aspect. We also know that with that, along with the bullying, is where a lot of our school shootings and those things kind of originate and they come from. When you go back to look at the bullying issues and things at the schools, you go back to when you have your mass shootings and school shootings. A lot of those, when you go back and you research that, it comes back to some type of bullying or some type of issues along those lines that's kind of brought that up. And so all of those facts, not just the drug use, not just the bullying, not just those things by themselves necessarily is detrimental. But when you combine a lot of those things together, then sometimes it becomes detrimental to students and becoming members of society.
Well, you were talking earlier about your schedule's not always 8 to 5. Tell us what it looks like in the day of the sheriff. What do your days look like?
Well, most of my days go up till about 10 or 11 o'clock of the night. I try to come in of a morning. Sometimes I get there early of a morning. Sometimes it may be a little later in the morning, but I come in before lunch and try to get there between 8 and 9, but some mornings I may be a little later if I'm out of the night. And through that time of coming in of a morning, I usually check my emails and return my phone calls and all those kind of things that came in. Go around the office and talk to my command staff and find out what's going on in the different areas of the office and deal with those issues and problems as they come up. But quite often during the day, they have a lot of people coming in and out of the office with different issues, different problems, do a lot of counseling, those type of things. And then typically of an evening and of a night, I have go to my scheduled appointments, and a lot of times I go out and I just help the officers patrol of the night and help them patrol of the evening and answer calls with them and things of that nature, just to let them know that we are, as a command staff, that we are there for them and to help them answer the calls, not just for the community, but also for our staff.
Last week we had talked about some of the burglaries that have happened in the northern part of the community, in like Unaka and those areas of Grape Creek.
Right.
Have you had any response from that show or for the commissioners meeting at all?
I have, and we've had discussions with the commission board and with the county manager's office about statistics, numbers, and putting those things together. But when we talk about patrolling these areas on the outlying places of the county, and we talk about these areas that don't get 24-hour coverage with patrols, sometimes that what people tend to forget, and even our commission board sometimes don't think about a lot of times, is it's not necessarily the call volume. It's not necessarily the number of calls you answer. But the fact of the matter is that, if you're living in one of these outlying areas and someone is currently breaking into your house or assaulting you or doing things they shouldn't be doing that you need immediate assistance, the real issue is the response time. The real issue is how long it takes to get an officer there. And so when we talk about staffing these places and when we talk about patrolling these areas, it's not necessarily, like I say, the volume of calls, the amount of calls you have, but it's about being there and having quick access, quick response times for those people that live in those areas.
All right. While you were talking there, Magic engineer Tim Radford has gotten a new stream started. So let me tell folks on Facebook that a new stream has been started. It's amazing what kind of response we get to these Facebook Live feeds. If we don't do one of these, I hear about it.
Right.
Big time. New stream started. All right.
Yeah, I tell them to switch
there
over.
There we go. So yes, I see people saying the stream's not working, but now new stream. All right. We're good now.
All right.
All right. So what else has been going on this week? I know tomorrow you're going to be talking at Conahita Park, correct?
Yes.
Tell us what's going on tomorrow at the park. It's called The Movement, and another drug prevention and recovery program. It's going to be an all-day thing starting at noon.
It is, and I have to actually, again, I've got other appointments tomorrow evening, so it's one of those things I have to go by there for a little while, then have to leave to go somewhere else. But still, we see these things happening around our county where we have communities getting involved and trying to get things going within our community of helping with the drug situation and those different things that are happening with our community. So tomorrow, I think High on Hope is sponsoring the movement tomorrow and just trying to bring people together and talk about the drug issues and bring the community together so that we can build relationships and things like that with those that may not just those that are affected by using drugs, but families that are affected by those. And just trying to formulate those relationships and getting people together to where we can have a good discussion about those things and what we're seeing in our communities.
And yesterday I drove to Cherokee and we had a Facebook Live with Caleb McCoy. We've seen him quite a bit here on WKRK. And I met Tim Kraft. He is he started the High on Hope group, and he's going to be here tomorrow and a big part of the movement program. And it's good to get a chance to meet Tim because he has a great testimony, a great story to share with folks. And I understand that's what going to be a lot of tomorrow's presentations, a lot of stories, a lot of testimonies on how drugs have affected their lives, and also just to give people hope and recovery because people need to feel like they're not alone in this process.
That is true. And what we hear a lot from a lot of people is the fact that when they're going through these situations and are going through their addictions and different things, it can be a very lonely, deserted type feeling. And so everyone needs help from someone else. And so when they're going through these things, it's good to have a network of people that they know they can count on that will help them through the process and help them get clean and stay clean, hopefully.
We're going to be broadcasting that on Facebook Live tomorrow. The first little bit, I won't have enough time to do the entire 8 hours or so.
Right.
But I don't think I'll have enough battery time to do
Right.
that either. But we'll be there around noon to help kick things off on Facebook Live. So if folks cannot make it, we realize we have listeners and viewers all over the country here, and some of you may not be able to be a part of it. So we just want you to join us there on Facebook Live. But if you could make it to Conahita Park, then by all means do so. We'd love to see your smiling
Right.
faces there and just show your support.
Right.
That means a lot to a lot
It
of
does.
folks, just
It
to show
does.
support.
And not to ask you even necessarily at this point to contribute, not even necessarily at this point to do anything, just to let people know that you do support them and that you are there, in the case they need things. So it's good just so people know that help is available.
All right.
Yeah.
Last night I posted a press release from, just an announcement of a class about BLET classes offered at Tri-County Community College.
Right.
Tell us what BLET is all about.
Basic law enforcement training is what it's about. It's the first step you have to take to be a law enforcement officer. When you go through that training, it is the training that's necessary to get to see if you have the skills and to provide you the skills necessary to become a law enforcement officer and to help you develop those skills to pass a state certified test. And so you can't be a law enforcement officer in North Carolina unless you pass a state certified test to become a law enforcement officer. And so that's what that school is all about, is to prepare you to not only be that officer, but also to pass that test.
Are there any age requirements or physical fitness requirements?
You have to be 21 years of age. And the reason you have to be 21 is because you have to be 21 to carry a firearm. And so you have to be 21 years of age to be a law enforcement officer, or you have to turn 21 within the school that you enroll in. And so along with that, there is some physical fitness requirements. There is what they call a POPAC course and different things that you have to pass. That's where you drag the dummies out of a car and you jump the walls and crawl through things and jump over things and do push-ups and sit-ups and run so far and all those kind of things that I can't do anymore.
So if I'm interested myself in taking this course,
Right.
what advice would you give me? Get younger and get in better shape?
Get in better shape.
Get in better shape.
We can't do anything about getting younger, but we can get in better shape. So you do have to be in decent shape. I won't say it to be in excellent shape, but you do have to be in decent shape. And you do have to pass these physical fitness courses and things to get your certification in the state of North Carolina. Somebody had asked a little while ago about on the part-time status for deputies. And I will tell you this, that also in North Carolina, within a year of being hired as a sheriff's deputy, you have to enroll and complete that course and have a state certification. You can work up to a year without completing that course, but you have to complete that course within the year. And if you don't complete that course, you can no longer work. So,
How long does the course normally take?
I think it's 500 and some hours now, 590 hours or something like that. I'll have to go back and research that. They change it every so often, and I'm not sure what the current hours on that is. But you do have to do that within the year. So a lot of people want to come down and they want to work part-time and they want to be a part-time deputy and they want to not necessarily make a career out of it, but they want to just be available and work some. But the problem with that is you have to go through that school and all that training. Even if you work just one day a year, you still have to go through that training. And so a lot of people, when they realize the requirements for that, they're like, well, no, I don't want to do that for just a part-time job or just a couple days a year. So
I'm always exploring my options,
Right.
my midlife crisis, I can do more, right?
Well, I think what we need to do, Tim, I think for maybe a day, we ought to just switch.
I think so.
You can be sheriff for a day, and I can be a radio announcer for a day.
I'm all for it. Let's go for it.
There you go.
And I can come in right at the start of the showtime and
Right. Just pop in here right
I'm
at last
here.
minute.
Yes,
Yeah.
But So what else has been going on this week at the
Really,
sheriff's office?
it's been kind of I hate to say this, I want to knock on wood because I don't want to jinx myself, but it's really been kind of just a normal, mundane type of week, and just doing our regular law enforcement stuff. We have had a few thefts, and especially in the lower end of the county, some big ticket items, some tractors, and those type of things. But most of everything we've had stolen, we've recovered already. We've had a couple vehicles been recovered and tractors and things of that nature. So, and a lot of people don't understand this. And I want to mention this real quick. They say, well, you recovered the tractor or you recovered the equipment. Why did you not arrest anybody and take them to jail? A lot of our felony cases that we work on, not only do we want to arrest a person that has the the stuff that we recover.
Mm-hmm.
But we also want to look back and investigate that as to whose hands it went through, who was a part of it, who actually stole it, who traded it, who stored it at their houses, all those type of things. And then later on, once we get all that information compiled and get it together, then we'll go through the grand jury indictment and indict the people that's involved in it and get them put in jail that way. When you go out and just do a felony arrest warrant and you just go out and pick one person up for possession of it, then you get into that thing where you've got attorneys involved, you've got hearings involved, you've got court hearings and all those kind of things. So it's better to do your investigation first and wrap all of that up and then indict them at a later date. And so we'll make sure people understand that. The only other real thing that we've had going on this week is we had, I guess it was Tuesday night, we had a chase that originated here in Murphy and wound up in Hayesville, and I think it concluded there in Hayesville somewhere. But it was it had some stolen property on the truck. It had some drugs involved and paraphernalia and things of that nature. So
that explains that strange text I got. I don't think it was meant to be a media page.
Right. Did you get a text about
I did get a text.
Okay.
It was given car numbers and things like that.
Yeah, I probably
But
went to the wrong place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, that was what the deal was, and he was apprehended there in Hayesville at, I think, the McDonald's in Hayesville actually is where the chase wound up at, and I think he kind of ran off in the ditch up there. That's kind of where it stopped at. So.
Well, we were talking about the BLET class. Is
Right.
there a demand locally? Is there a need for more law enforcement officers? And if so,
Everybody is looking for law enforcement officers.
so if somebody's wanting to explore that career, then this may be a good something.
It is. The shortage that we're facing right now with law enforcement is not just a county issue, but it's a statewide issue. It's a national issue. I was talking with Cherokee Tribal Police. They are down. They're down, I think, 15 or 20 officers right now. I think the North Carolina Highway Patrol is down about 100 officers. I think the SBI is down on applications. I think everybody in the state is low on applications right now and down on law enforcement officers. So if you're looking to get law enforcement, now would be a good time to get into law enforcement.
And it basically is, you basically have to love serving your community
You
and
do.
wanting to protect it. It's not a glamorous career by any means.
And one thing about law enforcement, you see and you hear us talk about the chases and recovering the stolen property and the crime scenes and all those kind of things. But what a lot of people don't realize is a vast majority of law enforcement is about paperwork. And it's about writing reports, and it's about documentation and submitting things to the DA's office, and it's a lot of report writing and a lot of those type of things. So a lot of people don't realize that, and they think that all you do is ride around in the car and then you put handcuffs on somebody and take them to jail and then you're done. And that's far from the truth. And a lot of people, when they get into law enforcement, especially when you get into investigations and things of that nature, they really realize quickly how much paperwork's involved and how much it consumes your time of doing paperwork. And so sometimes people get into law enforcement and realize that's not really what they wanted to do. It wasn't what they thought it was. So just so people understand and know that too, that it's not all about the driving fast and shooting guns and chasing cars and that kind of thing.
The adrenaline rush part of the job.
Yeah, and you do get that adrenaline dump. You do get that adrenaline rush, but there's a whole lot more mundane days of paperwork than there is of adrenaline dumps.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
When people see my job talking on the radio, doing Facebook Live, they have no idea how much paperwork is involved in having to deal with the FCC and all that good stuff. So, yeah, there's so much boring stuff, but I love it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love this. Let's see. Community watches. I know a lot of communities are kind of concerned about things going on in their neighborhoods.
Right.
What do they need to do to start a community watch, and what all power does that give to those community leaders?
Well, like we talked about a little bit last week, a community watch can be anything you want it to be. It can be anything from posting a sign up in your yard that you know what's going on and that you're watching things, and that can be the end of it. Community watch can start there, and it can go all the way through of having citizen patrols with watch commanders and nightly checks and reports and reporting things to the sheriff's office and sending stuff in. It can be anything in between. And so one of the things we encourage people to do is, if you have a community or you have a neighborhood that's considering doing community watch, what I suggest doing is scheduling a time to come to the sheriff's office, or we can come to where you are and sat down and have a conversation with you about Community Watch and what it entails and the different ways you can do community watches, and let people decide what they feel like they need for their community and what they're wanting to get involved in, what they're wanting to do. And when we have those conversations, then people can decide what they want for their community. Then we can make plans to move forward at that point. But it all starts with sitting down with law enforcement and talking about what they're expecting or what they're wanting out of a community watch.
Very good. How are things going between Cherokee County Sheriff's Office and the new leadership of the police department in Andrews, Chief Wooten?
We love JJ, and I really didn't want JJ to go up there, just to be honest with you.
You wanted to keep him at the
I
sheriff's office?
wanted to keep him at the sheriff's office. He's a good guy, and I really like JJ. But one thing that when we hired him at the sheriff's office, he worked for Andrews Police Department, and he came to work for us. And when we hired him and talked to him about it, he made it very clear from the start that his goal was to move up the ladder and to try to be a chief of police someday, or to be a sheriff, or to move it all the way up through investigations and learn about law enforcement and move all the way to the top. And so he saw an opportunity here to go to Andrews and get some experience and learn how to do things. And I applaud him for that, for stepping out and taking a chance and doing what he's set out to do in the beginning. But like I say, we do miss him at the sheriff's office. We loved having him there and working with him. So we have a good relationship with JJ.
That's good.
Yeah.
Does he seem to be enjoying his new role?
He does. As a matter of fact, I started up there yesterday. I was going to meet with him yesterday. I started to Andrews, and some calls came in, and we got sent in different directions and doing things. I never did get up with him, but he seems to be enjoying it up there. One of his issues, I'm sure he can talk to you later about it on the program that he does, but is just like the rest of us, is hiring people, getting help. Right now he's pretty much a one-man show there in Andrews, and we're helping him answer those calls and getting those investigations done up there.
Now in Andrews, can he just hire somebody, or they have to be approved by the whole town alderman, the board?
Each town and each county is set up a little bit differently depending on what they want for their towns or their counties. But typically when you go hire officers, those things have to be set. Budgets have to be set by boards, and they have to be, certain things set aside, because there's more than just paying a salary. There's workman's comp issues, and there's insurance and retirement and all those kind of things that are involved in it. So most towns, most sheriff's offices, most police law enforcement agencies go through some type of board or those type of things before they actually go out and hire a bunch of people. And there's only a certain amount of slots or positions set aside for hiring. So, but when it comes to the ultimate decision as who to hire and who you're going to put to work, those are decided by the chiefs and the sheriffs as to who they're going to actually put to work. But the positions and the finances have to be set aside by boards.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. JJ says he's going to be dropping by this evening at the pool party as well. So if folks in Andrews area or Murphy area want to meet the new chief of police for Andrews, JJ Wooten, just feel free to drop by and see his smiling face.
And I will tell people up at Andrews too, Chief Wooten is very personable. He's a very good guy. He does care about his community. He cares about the town of Andrews. And so he's very approachable. So if you have an issue or problem, and you'd just like to meet him and say hello, he's very approachable. So go say hi to him. And
if anybody who's been monitoring our Facebook feed, JJ wants it that way.
Right.
That's the song he lip synced to. I want it that way.
Yeah. Somebody asked him, said, "Why in the world did you pick the Backstreet Boys?"
I joked around. I said, "Yeah, he picked a song from my childhood."
Right.
And then some smarty pants had to do the math and said, "No, you were in college," when that came out.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate the good sportsmanship and talking to you guys. Anything else that you want to mention to us before we close out the show?
I don't think so. Just like I say, be safe out there. And if you have any issues or problems, please report it to your local law enforcement agency. We'll see you at the pool party in Shindig tomorrow.
All right, this is WKRK 105.5 FM, 1320 AM, cable TV channel 25, and worldwide we're at country.am. Tim Radford here, and sporting my pool shades for this evening, so hope to see you up there this evening. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. And let's push this button here. Wow, these glasses make it way too dark for me to work, so I'm going to take them off again so I can see what I'm doing. And say thank you to Sheriff Palmer. Then I'm going to come over here to this button and hit stop on Roger's recording.